All right. Wanted to do a quick video on my matches 6 through 10. Again, still a pretty small sample size, but this is kind of what happened over these last 5 matches. Here's the deck list again, just for everybody to take a look at. Again, I'm not making any changes until I'm 20 matches deep, and then we're only going to go for kind of slight modifications here and there so we can, really see if a change makes a bit of a difference. I don't want to do anything too drastic in between matches because it changes the deck just too much. So trying to figure out more specific things like what removal to run and how much, what mix of 1 drops, 2 drops, 3 drops, which 3 drops to run. Again, we're still on the Tink shift line, so we're going to hang on to that for a little while longer than just 20 matches just to see how it feels. But we'll just keep evolving over time, so it'll be fun. I'm just gonna go over some just bullet points real quick from these matches. So matches 6 through 10, played against Purple Steel 3 times, Ruby Amethyst once, and Emerald Amethyst once. So obviously out of the gates, a lot of these matches feel like, okay, whoever gets more genies, Elsas, and just all the gas, okay, they're gonna win. Whoever has more cards wins. It's like anytime they're able to chain a couple of friends together, or library draw 2 alpha bogs, and whoever has more cards at the end of the genie wars, clearly ends up winning the matches most of the time. Ruby Amethyst does not feel good at all right now. I feel like once they get to 6 ink and can start doing Medusa and threaten B prep, any momentum I've built up is very, very threatened. So that's just a tough matchup that I want to work on further. Bell hasn't felt great to me so far. I know it has its very, very useful tools. It's helpful in the genie battles, but sometimes I feel like it kind of just rots in my hand, or I get it at the wrong times and it just feels like a body. But I kind of need to, I will take responsibility for this, where it's like I don't think I know how to set this card up well yet. I generally mull it when it's in my opening hand, and when I draw it, I'm like, okay, well, how do I get this thing going? It's like I've had a couple occasions where it just naturally happens, and I'm like, oh, okay, move 2 damage, kill a guy, or banish character, okay. But a lot of the times, I'm just like, ugh, I don't know what to do with this. Little Tinkerbell, even though I know it's not the most favored 3 drop, has felt really good. Being able to stack up Evasive Lore has felt awesome to me. Like having Little Tink and Genie and being able to quest for 4 evasive, every turn, and adding Elsa to that, getting a second Tink, anything like that feels pretty awesome. The other thing that I like Tinkerbell a lot for is there's actually kind of 2 things to fear with it when you're playing against other purple decks a lot of times, which is, you can crab a Little Tink to threaten a Genie, or you do have the shift line. So it's like there's 2 different things that they have to be thinking about just with your Little Tink on board. So again, I know there's other strong 3 drops. I know it's kind of a polarizing card to run Tink or not, but I do like kind of the dynamic that it adds to some of these matches. Been playing, when I in a few of these Purple Steel matchups, the Pluto Lawrence version is running around the online, client quite a bit from what I've seen. It's pretty interesting. Pluto is a pretty big roadblock sometimes. Anytime I'm trying to I want to fox or crab or do anything to tempo things up. I have to go through it first, and it almost always takes more than 1 card. Best case scenario, I can crab something to get through it. But it's still a pretty big roadblock. And anytime I don't have a good way to get through it, it sucks. Twin Fire can be good against it sometimes, where I can Twin Fire it and then bash into it a little easier. But I don't like seeing that card come down. It's a pretty decent singer too, but that thing sucks up tempo or momentum pretty well. But I just need to get better at playing against Pluto too. I know, a lot of people have tried it out and then end up abandoning it because it's not as great as people think. But I don't enjoy playing against that card so far. Twin Fire, either awesome or awful. That's pretty obvious. In the times when it's great, it feels really good. And I'm going to show you guys a scenario that works really well for me with that card so far. And other times I'm just like, okay, this is useless. And I wish it was anything else. I wish it was inkable, whatever. But that's kind of, that's, it's a high roll card. When it's great, it's great. When it's not, it's, it kind of hurts to have in your hand. I had a loss to Green Purple, which was a bummer because that's, should be a good matchup. But, that deck is very capable of high rolling, and that's just another one that I hope to play more games against, because that should be a very, very, it should be a favorable matchup for us for Purple Steel, depending on, how the hands shake out. Another big thing was trying to have a follow up to the Genie War. It's really obvious that okay, I play a Genie, they play a Genie, I play Elsa, we both bash into Genie, that's great. But you know, at the end of the day, like after all that dust settles, it's, you know, whoever has more cards in hand, whoever can follow that up with like more cards again, is going to be in great shape. I've definitely had times where it's like I feel like, you know, like I'm able to play a genie, they play genie, I play Elsa, rush into genie. To banish their genie, and I'm like looking good. But then, like, if they're able to, like, okay, bell my genie and then add something else, or like if I just don't have much gas after, like, if genie Elsa are the last things in my hand, or the last, like, you know, cards of relevance in my hand, and I go through the battle and I'm left with like, okay, crab and like broom, or like, you know, just something that's just kind of jank, I'm like, okay, now I don't have a way to apply pressure, or it's hard to get the board back. So I feel like having a follow up plan for after the Genie War is something that I think I need to think you know, a lot about when it comes to playing these games. I've been struggling in the early game a lot. I feel like I have to mull for my 1 drops and mull for 2 drops, like, you know, all the time. You know, and we're playing a reasonable amount. Like, you know, we're up to 10 1 drops, and, you know, 6 of actual 2 drops isn't a whole lot. Snake is there, but like that should be enough. But maybe it's just the luck of the draw I've had so far. But I haven't had great luck with my curve, which has been disappointing. So that's I don't, again, that's something I'm not going to freak out about right now. It's a small sample size again, but like that's doesn't feel great to have to worry about that. Um, Managing damage against bells, like, you know, I you know, out of these 5, purple, purple. It's all purple decks all day long. So I feel like I have to constantly worry or manage, you know, my damage against impending bells, just like you would against Rapunzel or Go-Go. I got pretty good against green purple, where I had like used a Calhoun to clear a character and gain 2 lore, and it was like a Diablo or a Merfolk or something, and then they like genied back. Challenged my Calhoun, even though they didn't kill it, and then were able to bell those 3 damage onto like my genie, or did something that felt like a blowout, even though they didn't take out the Calhoun with the resist 1. But just like, you know, just like you would worry about in Steel Song, like Lawrence questing into your 3 power thing in order to get the damage and then draw 3 with Rapunzel. I feel like I just have to constantly be aware of where damage can go, because the bell blowout can happen pretty easily. And yeah, did I say cards in hand is good? Yeah, again, like a lot of these games feel like, okay, I drew 2 friends, thus I win because I have more cards. Or, you know, I have, oh, rabbit, bounce, rabbit, oh, I'm up cards and I get to win. It's an interesting thing to manage, because friends is like, it doesn't feel like the greatest tempo play at times, but whoever has more friends seems to be winning these games. You know, library has been very good against me. I'm not playing library right now, but again, it's something that requires, you know, some effort on my part to battle against, and then it draws them cards in the meantime. It's interesting. So so it's been an interesting, you know, few matches here. I wanted to show an interesting, cool play that I've done a couple of times now that I want to show you guys. Again, this is a little Tink related thing. So I've had games where I'm on the draw and I play like a little Tink on 3. They go genie on 4. Now, what we've been learning about, or like you see in threads a lot, is like, okay, don't play your genie, because they're going to then Elsa and bash into your genie, you lose genie, and they have genie and Elsa left over. Now, what's been an interesting line though is when I have little Tink first, they go genie. I say, you know, I play into this and I say, okay, genie, and wait for them to go, okay, Elsa, genie, you know, challenge, knock out your genie. But then there's 2 damage left on genie, 2 damage left on Elsa. If I have Twin Fire in my hand, I can then Twin Fire finish genie, 2 more on Elsa, challenge Elsa with the little Tink to banish Elsa, and I'm down genie, I'm down Twin Fire and a card from Twin Fire, but I've taken care of this play on their side of it. And Twin Fire, you know, being 2 on my 5th turn, I can play another 3-drop then. So whether it be, you know, another Tink, a crab, I mean, I don't know, there's whatever, anything. But this has been like an interesting kind of play to kind of bait out this Genie Elsa challenge, and then utilizing a Twin Fire in probably the most profitable way you can use a Twin Fire in these purple matchups. You know, it's great against Emerald, of course. But this is a cool interaction that I have used a few times. That, again, even it's like, you know, it's part of the Genie battle, right? Because for me, like, you know, yes, I'm down a Twin Fire and a card, but if I ditch, like, you know, a Chernobog or something like that, I don't really care too much. And then after this, if I'm left over with like my Elsa still, and I don't have to use my Elsa to battle back, or a Genie still, or a Belle still. If I have one of my Gassier cards left over and I use a Twin Fire to bust out a couple of their cards, then that's really helpful. And then Tinkerbell's still left behind to quest for two, quest for two. So it doesn't, again, this has happened I think 2 or 3 times during my game so far, but I think it's a noteworthy enough interaction to share. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So yeah, another 5 games in the books. I'll have another one of these coming out soon with another 5 games. We'll get closer to 20, and then we'll think about our first kind of modifications. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate all the views and subscriptions so far. The support really means a lot. Look forward to doing more of these. Thanks so much. Have a great day.